The massive alien fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system on a quiet Tuesday morning. Commander Jack Miller stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, the USS Thunder, watching as hundreds of enemy vessels emerged from hyperspace. The aliens called themselves the Dominion, and they had conquered 47 star systems before reaching Earth. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission," Lieutenant Anna reported from her station. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, gray-skinned creature with 4 arms and black eyes. This was Lord Krell, Supreme Commander of the Dominion forces. "Humans of Earth," Krell spoke through the universal translator, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You have 1 hour to surrender. We offer you the honor of becoming servants to the Dominion Empire. Refuse and we will take your planet by force." Commander Miller looked at his crew. Not a single face showed fear. Instead, he saw something the aliens had never encountered before: determination mixed with barely contained rage. "Open a channel," Miller ordered. When the connection established, Miller stood tall. "Lord Krell, I'm going to give you 1 chance. Leave our system now and never return." The alien commander laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the bridge. "You dare threaten us? We have conquered civilizations far greater than yours. Your primitive weapons cannot—" Miller cut the transmission. "All stations, this is Commander Miller. Execute Protocol Omega. Show them why Earth is different." For the past 50 years, humanity had been preparing. While other species focused on energy weapons and shields, humans had taken a different path. They had studied every conquered world, analyzed every Dominion victory, and found the pattern. The aliens always expected their enemies to fight with honor, with rules, with mercy. Humans had no such limitations when their home was threatened. "Sir, all hidden platforms are online," Anna reported. "The moon bases are ready. Mars colony confirms weapon systems are hot." The Dominion fleet moved forward, confident in their superiority. Their sensors showed only 20 human ships defending Earth. Lord Krell smiled at what seemed like an easy victory. He didn't know about the 1,000 stealth missiles already launched from hidden satellites. He didn't detect the mass drivers on the moon spinning up. He didn't see the antimatter mines scattered throughout the approach vector, dormant and invisible until activated. "Enemy fleet entering kill zone in 30 seconds, the tactical officer announced. Miller gripped his command chair. Humanity had learned something crucial from studying the Dominion's conquests. The aliens relied entirely on their shield technology. They had never faced an enemy who would use every dirty trick, every unconventional weapon, every bit of physics-defying insanity that human military minds could devise. "Sir, the Dominion is hailing us again," Anna said. "Put them through." "Lord," Krell appeared again, still supremely confident. "Your 20 ships against our 300, this is madness. Surrender now and I promise your deaths will be quick." Miller smiled coldly. "Lord Krell, you made 2 mistakes. First, you threatened Earth. Second, you assumed we would fight fair." "What are you talking about, human?" "Computer, activate all systems." Authorization, Miller Omega 770. Across the solar system, humanity's true defense network came alive. The asteroid belt revealed hidden weapon platforms. Jupiter's moons showed artillery positions. Even the sun itself had human-built stellar manipulators ready to create targeted solar flares. But the real surprise was much simpler and more terrifying. "You see, Lord Krell," Miller continued, "we studied your shields. Very impressive technology. Stops energy weapons, deflects kinetic impacts, even handles radiation. But there's one thing your shields can't stop. Impossible. Our shields are perfect. They can't stop something that's already inside them." Miller turned to his weapons officer. "Lieutenant Tom, execute." Tom pressed a single button. Every piece of debris from previous Dominion conquests, every bit of wreckage they had brought with them as trophies, every small particle floating in their fleet formation, all of it had been seeded with human nanobots during the 50 years of preparation. Nanobots that had waited dormant for this exact moment. The Dominion had brought their own destruction with them. At exactly 09:47, Earth Standard Time, the battle began. Lord Krell watched in horror as his mighty warship's systems started failing. Warning lights flashed across every console as the nanobots, now active, began consuming the ship from within. They targeted power cores first, then life support systems, then weapons. "What is happening?" Krell roared at his bridge crew. His science officer, a thin creature named Vex, frantically checked the readings. "My lord, there are microscopic machines inside our hull. They're eating through everything." "Raise shields to maximum." "The shields are already up, sir. These things, they were already inside when we activated them." This was humanity's first strike, and it was devastating. The nanobots had been programmed with a simple directive: disable, don't destroy. Earth wanted these ships intact for study, but more importantly, they wanted the aliens alive to spread the message. Commander Miller watched his tactical display as red dots representing Dominion ships began flickering to yellow. Disabled, but not destroyed. "Sir, the stealth missiles are about to impact," Lieutenant Tom reported. The second strike came at Oro 948. 1,000 missiles, each no bigger than a basketball, had been drifting toward the Dominion fleet for hours. They were coated in a special material that absorbed all forms of radiation, making them invisible to every known sensor. The aliens' first warning was when the missile's engines activated just seconds before impact. But these weren't ordinary explosives. Each missile contained a gravity distortion device, technology humans had developed by studying black holes. Upon impact, they created tiny gravitational anomalies that literally tore sections of the enemy ships apart. Lord Krell's flagship shook violently as 3 missiles hit. The proud vessel's rear section simply ceased to exist, crushed into a point, smaller than an atom before the distortion field collapsed. "Return fire," Krell commanded. "All weapons target the human vessels." The Dominion's energy beams lanced out toward the human fleet, but Earth's ships weren't where they appeared to be. Holographic projectors had created false images while the real vessels waited elsewhere. The aliens were shooting at ghosts. At 0950, the third strike activated. The mass drivers on the moon, weapons that could accelerate projectiles to 90% the speed of light, opened fire. These weren't aimed at the ships. They targeted the space around them. Each projectile was wrapped in a containment field holding antimatter. When the field collapsed on impact with anything, even space dust, the resulting explosion was visible from Earth. Space itself seemed to burn as dozens of antimatter explosions created a wall of destruction. Dominion ships trying to retreat found themselves trapped between the expanding explosion fields and the human fleet. "We need to retreat," Vex shouted over the alarms. "No!" Krell slammed his fist on the command console. "We are the Dominion. We do not run from primitives." At 0952, humanity unleashed something that violated 3 different galactic treaties. Treaties Earth had never signed. The humans called it the Ripper Beam. It was a weapon that existed partially in subspace, partially in normal space. When fired, it ignored shields, armor, and any known defense. It simply deleted whatever it touched from existence. 20 human ships fired simultaneously. 20 Dominion vessels, including 2 of their largest battleships, simply vanished. Not destroyed, not vaporized, erased from reality itself. The bridge of Krell's flagship fell silent except for the wailing alarms. At 0955, Commander Miller sent another transmission. "Lord Krell, you've lost 60% of your fleet in 8 minutes. Your weapons can't target us. Your shields are useless. Surrender now, or we'll demonstrate what the other weapons we haven't used yet can do." Krell looked at his tactical display. It was a sea of yellow and red lights, disabled or destroyed ships. His mighty armada was being systematically dismantled by an enemy that had spent 50 years preparing for this exact moment. "How?" Krell whispered. "How did you know exactly how to defeat us?" Miller's expression was grim. "We studied every world you conquered. We talked to the survivors. We learned your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses, and then we did what humans do best. We prepared for war." At 0958, the fourth strike began. Hidden satellites around Earth activated, projecting an energy field that began compressing space itself around the remaining Dominion ships. The aliens found their vessels being slowly crushed by invisible forces. "Sir," Vex screamed, "space-time is collapsing around us. The humans are manipulating the fundamental forces. Krell stared at his dying fleet. In 11 minutes, the unstoppable Dominion armada had been reduced to scattered wreckage and disabled ships. His own flagship was failing, multiple decks exposed, to vacuum, engines dead. The humans hadn't just defeated them, they had demolished them with contemptuous ease. At 10 Sarah's Earth Standard Time, 13 minutes into the battle, Lord Krell made a desperate decision. "Launch the planet killer," he ordered, his voice hollow with defeat. "If we cannot have Earth, no one will." The Dominion's ultimate weapon was a massive missile designed to crack planets in half. It had ended 12 civilizations who had resisted too strongly. Now, from his dying flagship, Krell watched as the enormous weapon launched from the Armada's support vessel. Commander Miller had been expecting this. "Sir, they've launched a Planet Cracker-class weapon," Anna reported calmly. "Trajectory confirms Earth as the target." "How predictable," Miller muttered. "Lieutenant Tom, activate the sun gun." Tom's fingers flew across his console. Sun gun charging. Target locked. The sun gun wasn't actually mounted on the sun. That would be impossible with current technology. Instead, it was a network of satellites positioned at the L1 Lagrange point between Earth and the sun. These satellites had spent 3 years collecting and storing solar energy, compressing it into a weapon of unimaginable power. The planet killer missile accelerated toward Earth, its engines burning with the force of 1,000 nuclear reactors. It would reach the planet in less than 60 seconds. "Sun gun at full charge," Tom announced. Firing. A beam of pure solar energy, compressed and focused to a width of just 3 meters, lanced out from the satellite network. The temperature, at its core, exceeded that of the sun itself. When it struck the planet killer, the missile didn't explode. It simply evaporated, its atoms scattered across space. But humanity wasn't done. At 10:01, the fifth and final strike commenced. "Lord Krell," Commander Miller's voice echoed across the alien bridge. "You've lost. Your fleet is destroyed. Your planet killer is gone. But we're going to give you something to remember us by." From Earth's surface, 10,000 missiles launched simultaneously. But these weren't heading for the Dominion fleet. They shot past the alien ships, accelerating beyond anything the Dominion had seen before. "Where are they going?" Vex asked, checking his sensors frantically. Krell's 4 eyes widened in realization. "They're heading for the hyperspace entry point." "Correct," Miller's voice continued. "Those missiles contain something special. We call them screamers. When they detonate at your entry point, they'll send a signal through hyperspace itself. Every Dominion ship, every conquered world, every outpost in your empire will hear it." The missiles reached the point where the Dominion fleet had entered the solar system and detonated simultaneously. The explosion was unlike anything in conventional warfare. It rippled through dimensions, sending a pulse through the hyperspace network the Dominion used for travel. The message was simple, broadcast in every known language, including the Dominion's. "Own Earth is protected. Come here and die." But the screamers did more than send a message. They corrupted the hyperspace route itself, making it impossible for any ship to enter Earth's system through that vector for the next 100 years. On his crippled bridge, Lord Krell received reports from across the Empire. The message had been heard on every Dominion world simultaneously. Panic was spreading through their territories as conquered species realized the Dominion could be beaten. "You've started a rebellion," Krell said to the human commander. "Every world we control will rise up now." "That was the plan," Miller replied coldly. "You see, Lord Krell, humans have a saying, 'The enemy of my enemy is my friend.' We've been in contact with resistance groups in your empire for decades. They've been waiting for a signal. You just helped us deliver it." The tactical display on Krell's bridge showed new alerts: uprising on Vega Prime, rebellion on the Centauri colonies, revolution in the outer reaches. The Dominion Empire, built over centuries of conquest, was collapsing in minutes. At 10:01 and 30 seconds, 14 minutes after the battle began, Lord Krell ordered the surrender of what remained of his fleet. "We yield," he said, his voice broken. "The Dominion fleet surrenders to Earth." Commander Miller nodded. Smart choice. Our medical ships will provide assistance to your wounded. Your crews will be treated according to our laws of war. Why? Krell asked. Why show mercy now after such devastation? Because that's the difference between us, Miller answered. You conquer through fear. We protect through strength. And now the galaxy knows. Earth doesn't start fights, but we end them. The remaining Dominion ships powered down their weapons and engines. Prison ships from Mars were already en route to collect the survivors. The battle was over. 3 hours after the battle ended, Earth's leadership convened in the United Nations War Room. President David Hayes looked at the reports streaming in from across the solar system. The numbers were staggering. Confirm the statistics, Hayes said to his defense secretary. Secretary Robert Clark checked his tablet. 300 Dominion ships engaged, 212 completely disabled, 43 destroyed, 45 surrendered. Our losses: 0 ships, 0 casualties. The room fell silent. They had war-gamed this scenario 1,000 times, but none of the simulations had predicted such a one-sided victory. Sir, we're receiving messages from 17 different species. Communications Director Lisa Park announced. They're all asking for protection treaties with Earth. Hayes rubbed his temples. In 14 minutes, Earth had gone from an unknown backwater planet to the dominant military power in the sector. It wasn't a position humanity had sought, but it was one they had prepared for. Meanwhile, aboard the prison transport heading to Mars, Lord Krell sat in his cell, staring at the stars. His second-in-command, Vex, occupied the adjacent cell. How? Did we lose so completely? Vex asked for the 100th time. Krell had been thinking about that question since the surrender. We believed our own propaganda. We thought we were invincible because no one had challenged us properly. The humans, they didn't just prepare weapons. They prepared a strategy designed specifically to destroy us. The nanobots? Were probably deployed years ago, Krell admitted. Every time we displayed our trophies, every time we allowed traitors near our ships, they were planting them. We were infiltrated before we even knew Earth existed as a threat. A human guard walked past their cells. The young man, barely out of training, looked at the defeated alien commanders with something Krell didn't expect. Pity. Guard, Krell called out. May I ask you something? The guard, whose name tag read Johnson, stopped. Sure. Your people prepared for 50 years. How did you know we would come? Johnson shrugged. We didn't know it would be you specifically, but we knew someone would come eventually. It's basic human history. There's always someone who wants to take what you have. So we made sure we were ready for anyone. But the weapons you used, they violate every rule of civilized warfare. The guard laughed, not unkindly. Civilized warfare? You came to enslave our planet. You threatened to kill us all. There's nothing civilized about that. We just responded in kind. Back on Earth, the first diplomatic ships from former Dominion territories were arriving. The Zephyr species, tall, bird-like beings who had been conquered 50 years ago, were the first to land. Ambassador Talon, the Zephyr representative, met with President Hayes in New York. The Dominion controlled our world for half a century, Talon said, her feathers ruffling with emotion. We had given up hope. Then your message came through hyperspace, followed immediately by news of their fleet's destruction. Our people are free because of you. We didn't do it for you, Hayes replied honestly. We did it to protect Earth. But we're glad others benefited. Still, the galaxy needs leadership now. The Dominion Empire is collapsing. 47 star. Systems are in chaos. Pirates and warlords are already moving to fill the vacuum. Hayes had been afraid of this. Earth had won the battle, but now they faced a larger challenge, preventing the entire sector from descending into chaos. What do you propose? Hayes asked. An alliance, Talon answered. Earth provides military protection, and the free worlds provide resources and technology. Together we can build something better than the Dominion ever was. In the Mars prisoner facility, Lord Krell was brought to an interrogation room. But instead of torture or harsh treatment, he found a simple table with 2 chairs and a human officer waiting for him. "I'm Colonel James Wilson," the man said. "I'm here to discuss your future." "I expected execution," Krell admitted. "That's not how we do things. You have valuable knowledge about the Dominion's systems, trade routes, and allied species. Help us stabilize the region, and you and your crews can earn your freedom." Krell's 4 eyes blinked in surprise. "You would trust us?" "Trust? No. But we believe in redemption. Your choice, Lord Krell. Rot in prison or help build something better." It was a choice the Dominion would never have offered. As Earth's first day as a galactic power ended, humanity faced a truth they hadn't fully expected. Winning the war had been the easy part. Now they had to win the peace. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The Terran Defense Alliance now included 32 species, all former Dominion subjects who had chosen freedom under Earth's protection. Commander Miller, promoted to Admiral for his role in the battle, stood in the newly constructed Unity station orbiting Earth. Through the massive windows, he could see ships from dozens of different worlds coming and going peacefully. "Sir, Lord Krell is here for his appointment," his aide announced. Krell entered, no longer wearing the elaborate armor of a Dominion commander but simple civilian clothes. He had chosen to cooperate, providing invaluable intelligence about the Dominion's inner workings. "Admiral Miller," Krell said with what had become familiar respect. "You asked to see me?" "Yes, I have a proposition for you." Miller gestured to the view outside. "We're forming a new peacekeeping force, multi-species dedicated to preventing another empire like the Dominion from rising. I want you to help lead it." Krell's eyes widened. "You want me to help lead your military?" "Not our military, the galaxy's protection force. You know the threats out there better than anyone. You understand how empires think, how they operate. That knowledge could save billions of lives. The species I once conquered would never accept me." "Some won't," Miller agreed. "But others have already agreed. They believe in redemption as we do. The question is, do you?" Krell looked out at the stars he had once sought to rule through fear. "Your 14-minute victory didn't just destroy my fleet, Admiral. It destroyed everything I believed about power." "And what do you believe now?" "That true strength isn't in conquering others. It's in protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Krell straightened. "I accept your offer." On Earth, the changes were equally dramatic. Humanity had gone from one planet to leading an interstellar alliance virtually overnight. Schools now taught alien languages alongside Earth languages. Scientists worked with technology centuries ahead of what they had known. Cities hosted embassy districts where beings from across the galaxy lived and worked. President Hayes addressed the United Nations, now expanded to include representatives from all Alliance worlds. 6 months ago, we were alone in the universe as far as we knew, Hayes began. Today, we stand at the center of the largest free alliance in galactic history. This brings great opportunity, but also great responsibility. He paused, looking at the diverse assembly. Humans, Zephyrs, the crystalline shard people, the aquatic, Neptari, and dozens of other species. The Dominion ruled through fear. We will lead through cooperation. They took through force. We will share through trade. They destroyed cultures. We will preserve and celebrate diversity. In the outer colonies, the transformation was remarkable. Mars, once a struggling terraforming project, had become a major trading hub. The technology shared by grateful Alliance members had accelerated the terraforming by centuries. Green was already spreading across the red planet's surface. Captain Anna, promoted after the battle, commanded one of Earth's new exploration vessels. Her crew was half human, half various alien species. They were mapping the territories beyond the old Dominion space, making first contact with species who had hidden during the Empire's reign. "Captain, we're approaching the Void Dancers' territory," her navigation officer, a young Zephyr named Swift, reported. The Void Dancers were legendary, a species that had successfully resisted the Dominion by hiding in nebulae. Now they were curious about these humans who had done what they couldn't: defeat the Empire entirely. "Send the standard greeting," Anna ordered. "Include the recording of the battle." The 14-minute battle had become legendary throughout known space. Some species studied it as a military masterpiece. Others saw it as a moment of liberation. For humanity, it was a reminder of what they could accomplish when threatened. The response from the Void Dancers came quickly, an invitation to meet. Back on Unity Station, Admiral Miller received the latest reports. Piracy was down 90%. Trade routes were safer than they had been in centuries. Former Dominion weapons were being converted to mining equipment and construction tools. "Sir," his communication officer interrupted. "We're detecting a massive fleet approaching from beyond the galactic rim." Miller tensed. "Identity?" "Unknown, sir. But they're broadcasting a message." The main screen activated, showing beings of pure energy, their forms shifting and beautiful. "Humans of Earth," the being spoke, its voice like music. "We are the ancients. We have watched from afar as empires rose and fell, but never have we seen a species win a war in 14 minutes and then choose mercy over vengeance. We come to offer our friendship and knowledge." Miller smiled. Earth's greatest weapon hadn't been the nanobots or the gravity weapons or even the sun gun. It had been humanity's ability to prepare, adapt, and ultimately choose justice over conquest. The 14-minute battle had ended the Dominion Empire, but it had begun something far greater, an age of cooperation that would reshape the galaxy forever.